invest now in your health or be forced to pay for your sickness is, kind of come to the back of my mind in this conversation. And we see it. You're downtown on the plus 15s. I like to call a good portion of that population the walking, living, breathing dead. They don't even know that they need recovery. They may even have a workout regime, but their bodies have so much inflammation in them that the body's busy fighting that inflammation. There's no chance of building muscle or losing fat.
This is Shed Talk. Dean Zipse. Upgraded Labs, Human Upgraded Center. You know what? I'm going to do something a little bit different today on the intro. I'm going to ask you to give me an elevator pitch about what you do.
Yeah, you bet. We've talked enough, 30-year energy service executive. Been downtown Calgary, downtown Houston for many years. And I think it was, throughout the COVID time period, maybe coming out of COVID, that my current business partner, Bruce, and I realized that this health piece really needed some attention. And we noted that certainly for our own demographic, our own age group, a little bit older, and that we felt people were really looking at taking their personal health into their own hands, that the medical system was possibly failing them a little bit. And I think that we just knew there had to be a better way because the conventional system had kind of failed us during that time. And it was in looking for that solution that we discovered David Asprey's Upgrade Labs. And we were very quick to get associated with them, and we're building the Western Canadian portion of their franchise.
Oh, that's interesting. So you're looking at healthcare, or not health. Yeah, let's talk about. You're looking at healthcare. You're looking at fitness. What was the number one thing that made you switch or want to get into the health side of it for you personally?
Yeah, for me personally, as I mentioned, 30-year executive, probably a case of adrenal fatigue, a time or two on an airplane 3 or 4 times a week, plus picking kids up from soccer. It's a really demanding schedule. And I think one of the benefits of COVID, as it were, is that we didn't have any money, but we had time. And that time really allowed for the thinking and creativity to go down this channel. The way Upgrade Labs ties in recovery with that fitness concept, and then this advanced AI equipment we have on the fitness side is just incredible. We felt that was the solution for the executive business demographic that needed support in their health and wellness journey.
So let's talk about the executive side of it. And so when you were working in business, so as a CEO and you're in it, when was that one time, that moment in time that you decided to be an entrepreneur? Or were you an entrepreneur before that?
I've been an entrepreneur my entire career. I'm an engineer by education. However, I call myself an entrepreneurial engineer in that I'm a business builder. And I've been very fortunate to have some incredible leaders and CFOs in my career that really allowed me to flourish in that COO type role. And with that kind of sales and operations and customer piece of experience, I've owned or been a senior leader at maybe 20 companies.
So when you're looking at the David Asprey, the franchise, because I've been into your guys' what is it? We call it your shop.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it the shop because it's like a shop because you're going to bring your body and this is a shop. We're going to trade. We're going to mold your body to what it's supposed to be.
Put you up on the hoist and get to work.
Get to work, exactly. But the why David Asprey? Like, okay, here it is. You're looking at health and fitness, and you must see lots of other workout regimes out there. Why that one?
Well, Kevin, as my business partner, Bruce, and I worked on this plan, we went down to California and we did due diligence on a number of very high-end facilities. At first, we were thinking of buying this equipment for ourselves. And ultimately, it's too experienced or too expensive to have in the garage or the living room. And we decided to build a business around it. When you have walk-in freezers for cold therapy, red light beds with amazing electronics that have energy components to it, and the super high-end AI fitness equipment, you just can't have it all in your living room. And we decided that building a business around it was the way to go, in that we were searching for that solution ourselves, both 30-year executives. We knew there had to be many other people that were interested in adding this to their lives.
So let's talk a little bit about that cold therapy.
Yeah.
Because when I was at the place the other day, it was the first time I've ever stepped into a freezer.
Yeah. Yeah.
How cold is that?
The chamber stays at about minus 100 Celsius. And depending on the time you spend in there or the setting, we can bring that down to about 120 degrees Celsius. 3.5 minutes is kind of recommended dosage, and incredible cognitive benefits. You get like a 9-hour cognitive boost. You get a 24-hour fat burn, as well. Inflammation's gone.
How long has this been around for?
Well, I accidentally...
And I'm not saying since the Ice Age.
Yeah, exactly. No, I clicked on a cold plunge lead on my Instagram maybe 3 years ago. I still haven't gotten rid of cold plunge tubs. Like, the cold therapy, the red light therapy, it's becoming much more mainstream now. And it was Dave Asprey who kind of put it all together into a fitness and recovery studio.
And that's interesting because till the day that I walked into your guys' operation, yeah, I've heard about cold plunges. You can go to the spa, Nordic Center, and,
You bet.
and we all do that and bring our spouses. But when you walked in there and you actually got to go into the red light and understanding, and I was like, this is actually right here. Like, okay, this is easy access. Like, I didn't have to go to California to go get this stuff.
Absolutely. And through that due diligence tour, we picked the best of the best, and we'd built out about 90% of Dave's business plan when we found Upgrade Labs. You kind of hit on the key advantage, and I like to think of it as almost a business metric, maximum and or minimum effective dose. The people that are using our therapies and AI tech properly, they're coming in the morning, they're doing 9 minutes of cardio, which has a 66% lasting effect after you get off the bike. They're doing 3 minutes of heavy lifting, which I'm not sure if you did the bench press, but you get a full workout, and they're hitting the cryo. All that's taking about 25 minutes. You're not sweaty. You have a 9-hour cognitive boost. You grab a coffee and head up to the office.
So it's like a quick fix.
It's absolutely a quick fix. Twice a week for maintenance, 3 times if you really want to get in shape.
So when you're looking at this as an executive, this is obviously it's obviously a quick way to get in shape that save time.
Absolutely. Invest now in your health or be forced to pay for your sickness is, kind of come to the back of my mind in this conversation. And we see it. You're downtown on the plus 15s. I like to call a good portion of that population the walking, living, breathing dead. They don't even know that they need recovery. They may even have a workout regime, but their bodies have so much inflammation in them that the body's busy fighting that inflammation. There's no chance of building muscle or losing fat.
And it's interesting because you talk about inflammation, and it was interesting you brought up the other day, and I don't think a lot of our listeners and vodcasts, and when we look at this, really understand this part of it is like compression socks.
Absolutely.
Going on an airplane.
Yeah.
And a long journey, and then people say, oh, make sure you're walking around, make sure you're doing this and walking around. And I'm actually getting to the nitty gritty here is that all of a sudden you got compression socks, you're wearing them on the plane, but then all of a sudden, wait a second, there's another device that you guys have that I hadn't seen before, and I had no idea that this was even possible. And what did you call that?
We call it the big squeeze. It's actually medical grade compression pants that a lot of surgeons use to put their patients into recovery after surgery. These pants are designed to provide that mild lymphatic massage, which is truly like dry brushing We're just tickling the surface of the skin and the surface nerves. I'm certain you've come home from a day at work and there's been a little bit of ankle above your sock, and that's lymphatic. If we can kickstart that system, we're really just kickstarting the human body's ability to heal itself and get that filter going. Huge benefit for lactic acid release, huge benefit for just your overall circulatory system.
So who would use this the most?
Well, everybody. And we have people that are coming to us for recovery only. We need to get them recovered before we can get them in shape. That modality in particular, I use it myself about once a week, just as a general keep my circulatory system kick-started. We have other modalities in there. I don't know if you tried the PEMF, pulsed electromagnetic force. So think of a TENS machine or shockwave therapy that you've maybe done at a chiropractor. This is whole body. And you get such an incredible relief from stiff and sore muscles that I call it the limp in, walk out station. People come to us, it's a 12-minute station, and they physically stand up taller, say they feel better, and walk out rather than limp.
So you're laying on a blanket, or
Yeah, it's an
is it heavy?
electrified sleeping bag.
Yeah, so you're laying on it, and it's sending shock waves through your body.
Those shock waves, electricity passes through the path of least resistance, and which is fluid and inflammation in the human body. And so if we can treat that inflammation, we can send a little fresh blood, reoxygenate that area, sweep away a little bit of the lactic acid and the swelling and inflammation, and get feeling better immediately.
So then because I'm thinking about a EMS, electric muscle stimulant, like a workout. You put on a suit and they do that workout. Turn it up and there's a trainer there. Kind of the same idea.
Similar. That's to stimulate the muscles in a growth phase. We're stimulating the muscles in a recovery phase. And so we love those workouts. They don't make a great business model because pretty soon you got a rack of sweaty suits that need cleaning for your next batch of clients.
That is so true. On going in there, just to go back, I wanted to talk a little bit more about basically the compression.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be a lot of people's problem is when we talk about compression socks, compression that they have severical veins. Is that what they're calling them?
Varicose veins.
Varicose veins. How does that treat, or not treat? Does that help out on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, anybody, most everybody walking through the plus 15s could come and lay in that bed and get refreshed. Certainly people with a little bit more drastic medical conditions, we would take a look at the pressure and the time that they're in that modality. And again, just the recovery is really incredible for all types of injuries.
So right now, this plate, you're started your new business.
You bet.
Okay. You're going to get everything all set up. What has been your greatest challenge right now as being an entrepreneur and actually setting up this business? And I'm going to go into, is it hiring staff? Is it pay? Like, where does that come into play as an entrepreneur? Because right now you're at the grassroots.
Absolutely. Kevin, we couldn't be more blessed for the staff that I say found us. Like you found us. We have an incredible team of kind of like-minded biohackers. They're interested in getting humans feeling better in their own body. And so just a tremendous group of people helping support this business. The challenge that we didn't think we would face is getting that executive into the club. Again, the people that have figured it out, they're in. We've got a guy, I'll tell you, for instance, he's in the building. He's got a 2:00 call every third Wednesday with an international group of brokers. He comes down, goes into the cold chamber, gets that 9-hour cognitive boost, goes back up to the office, and he's ready for that conference call. He just absolutely loves it. We've got other people that when they walk in the door, they'll go, okay, I know I booked a workout today, but I need the red bed and I need the big squeeze. And because people learn, you learn by doing, and people are comfortable enough with those modalities. We're one of the few places in probably downtown Calgary that asks feeling questions. And I really can appreciate that we're there with our client base, asking how they're feeling and truly looking for, do you need almost dry brushing lymphatic massage today? Or do you need a little red light therapy? Or do you need the sickest arm pump that you've ever had? And we have all of those clients. And some of those clients I described, it's one person that needs all of that.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I think of health, wealth, and mindset. Okay. So we're going to go. So I talk about health, okay, because that's one of my primary, and I live and breathe it.
Absolutely.
And what's really interesting is that you look at mindset. So I'm going to talk about AI. So fast forward, or actually I'm going to go backwards in time, 1 year. Okay. If I go backwards 1 year and talk about AI, now here we are, fast forward. Now we have AI workout equipment that when I saw this equipment, okay, then and I've been to many gyms in North America, and all the best gyms, the best trainers, the best to this, like seen it. And then all of a sudden I walk into something that I've never seen before. The thing I call it the things you know that you don't know. And I say this all the time. And then I look at this equipment and I'm going, what is that? And all of a sudden it's AI generated.
Yeah.
And to create curiosity, to ask the question, well, what does it do? It's AI. And yes, it does this. It gives you the pump on, or whatever the storytelling is. But what's really cool is that's only a year ago of AI. And you guys have already built the machine, put it into thing, and made a business out of this that can go huge. How many locations? Well, I'm going to get into that question.
Yeah.
But you look at that this is such brand new technology, brand new AI, and you guys have seen it for the first time. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, absolutely. And, again, through our due diligence journey and then connecting with Dave over this business, we first started answering the question that we were asking ourselves there, and we just knew there had to be a better way. And it's a great question to answer when you're starting a business or an offshoot of an existing business. And we knew there had to be a better way. A year ago on some of those due diligence trips, AI was just an acronym that no one even remembered what the initials stood for. And now we have workout equipment that emails you your workout. Not only that, it charts your long-term progress of concentric, eccentric movements, intensity, weights. You don't have to remember anything except your username and password on this stuff. It's really incredible.
So when you were going in there and you're researching the greatest and best equipment ever, okay, because you're all over it. It wasn't just because it was Dave Asprey.
That's right.
It was just because you're looking to fill a niche.
Yeah.
How did you get introduced to Dave or to the equipment? Like, was it a Facebook post? Or was it like, how did you get introduced to the business that made you go, that aha moment that said, I want that?
It was really quite interesting. I've followed Dave, and I remember it was since 2009, so quite a while, and watched Dave's journey. Dave, 300-pound overweight computer programmer, unhappy, lots of metabolic diseases brewing in that 300 pounds. And he had the forethought to go, I'm a computer programmer / hacker. Why don't I hack my own biology? And he coined the phrase biohacking. If you Wikipedia him, he's the father of biohacking, which I think fits very well. And you've had some experience with a similar journey. But Dave had done a lot of refining of the business model. We were about 90% of the way there. And it was one of those 11:30 at night. I'm online looking up, some more due diligence. And I discovered Upgrade Labs. And so I called my business partner, Bruce. I said, Bruce, At the time, Bruce was visiting his daughter in Victoria. There was a lab in Victoria. I said, Bruce, what are you doing tomorrow? I think you need to go check this place out. And so he went and signed up as a member, and we both started going over to Victoria to work out and check out the equipment. And the more we saw of his business model, the we liked it, and we've taken on Western Canada for our growth platform.
So when you look at the machinery, it's only a year old.
Yeah.
Okay. How much has it changed in technology wise in the last year with what you have?
You know, I've personally seen an evolution in a number of pieces of equipment, not necessarily Upgrade Labs related, but they're now building in the memory and the chip space. All of this stuff is on Wi-Fi. They send the upgrades, and it's seamless. And the programming that's in these things just continually improves what they record, how they track, just the minute idiosyncrasies that they're improving on happen seamlessly now.
Would you consider think of it like a Tesla car? So certain mechanics can work on it, certain mechanics cannot on a Tesla. So here's your new machinery. Joe Blow mechanic, me, going in there and say, oh, I got to change the cords or the pipes.
I'm going to go one older on you, Kevin, on the analogies.
Okay.
I consider a modern gym to be like a fax machine, where our facility is like a cell phone. And you wouldn't, fax me, hey, Dean, can we do the podcast on Wednesday? You'd text, call, FaceTime, you'd use all the modern technology at your disposal. And that's a snapshot of this equipment.
It's interesting because you just mentioned that analogy from the fax machine and you're going in there, because the way technology is today, where it's going to be tomorrow, and where health, wealth, and fitness today, where it is today, is going to be totally different tomorrow. As the executive downtown, the quick fix has to be able to be at their prime. Yes, they have their boot camps and stuff that they're still in between here, but the technology that's going in there to make life a lot easier and better and change. Not that it's easier. It's still hard to work out. It doesn't matter what you say. You still have to work hard.
Yep.
But it gives you the means to be great. Now, there was another thing that was really interesting that I found was there was a machine that you had to grab a hold of, and it told you everything about your body. It was kind of like you walk into the restaurant and you want to have certain calories, certain this, and then they tell you, well, that's nice. I'm glad you told me. But then all of a sudden, when you walk in, you've got the machine. They're going to say, no, I'm going to show you, not how to use the machine, but I'm going to show you actually your chemistry inside your body. And what do they call that?
That's our cell health analysis. And I think this is almost along that same line of the technology. I would call it more accountability. We put you on the cell health analysis. It gives us not only body weight, muscle weight, bone density. It gives us a snapshot of visceral fat and intercellular and extracellular water. And there's some certain ratios that extracellular water shows up as inflammation. And we get per limb data. And so that degree of accountability, we can actually tell you your cell health, the quality of the water protecting your cells. We can tell you if there's inflammation in your body, and we can actually pre-diagnose a little bit of treatments that we might do to you to get you started on your fitness and recovery journey. We have other equipment that, of course, does strength test, mobility test, and we can print out any one of these reports. And as they say, what gets measured gets improved. That's what we're all about.
Yeah, it was interesting because I used that machine the other day and jumped on it, and it was quite surprising to read it. And I was going, oh, that's interesting. I had no clue. What that meant until all of a sudden you guys explained that, okay, this is where your legs are at, this is where you're at. And for being at 56 years old, this was the coolest thing. It's to walk into a place at 56 years old and say, did you know at your age, you are in the top 1 percentile, like so out of 20 percentile of people that are in shape to be able to do it. I'm going, oh, I never really thought about it. But looking after your health at an older age, and I use 50 because I started at 50, and looking at being in shape of older age and being able to record it and go, I never even knew that was like, that's even possible to have it recorded, to actually see it. And here's the actual, instead of looking in the mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. Real incredible data sources, and kind of bell curves to measure against. And that also gives us very specific, very individualized data for our clients in order to maintain that fast track to fitness. Whether we need to recover you first or a relatively fit person, we can get them right on the fitness side to ensure that they're getting that quick, effective workout, getting recovered, and getting back to work.
So out of all your workouts and getting in shape and doing what you're saying, what do you love most about it? Or actually, I'll make it even better. As an entrepreneur in business, what's the one thing that you love in your business?
You know,
And it can't be people.
yeah, no, I was going to answer in lab, and truly it's having access to this fitness equipment. I've been off my workout regime a little bit over the summer while we got a few kinks worked out. The place is just absolutely running top shelf. The staff have a good handle on everything. We're after Labor Day. Dean's able to get back into a good workout regime. And I rarely go a day without cold therapy.
So I got a question then. As you're in the fitness aspect of it, okay, so you're living and breathing in fitness now,
Yeah.
okay, and in health. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, because you own a gym, okay, and you have this equipment, and you truly have it, because it's like anything. How often do you actually get to use it? Now, you answered the question before and said, "Oh, you're once a week." Oh, I haven't been on it because I have to do this, and it's kind of like what's the saying go? Is as a shoeman, a guy who manufactures or makes shoes actually has the worst types of shoes.
Absolutely.
So you're in a fitness thing, and is it one of those things? Oh, I got to go to a different gym just to work out.
Well, believe it or not, I do have a boot camp that I go to that's not in our facility. I love the squad that we have there. Kevin, if you could imagine, I'm the chirpy guy that sets 30s down in front if you pick up 25s. And so I love that camaraderie, and I'll never give that up. However, I'm working out 4 days a week and doing, the cold therapy almost daily in there. I don't let a day go by where I don't use one of our modalities.
So how important is cold therapy?
Cold therapy is, it's really an incredible modality. And I did cold plunges with my girlfriend all winter in the Elbow River, and it flows at 3 degrees Celsius in the winter. We were doing 2 minutes in the river. That's cold. And the single greatest benefit, take out the no inflammation, take out the no brain fog, take out the 800 calorie burn after you get out. I can do tough things. And that mental boost of when it's snowing out and you drop your house coat and jump down into the river for a couple minutes, if you can teach your body to do that, there's a lot of parts and phases of life that get easier.
So let's talk about the mindset.
I'm glad you asked. Yeah.
So let's talk about your mindset, jumping into that, and not just once. Anybody can do anything once.
Sure.
Okay. So let's go. And you did this every day.
Every Sunday.
So every Sunday.
Except when the river was frozen over. And I brought an axe a few times to get rid of a shelf of ice.
No, rightfully
Yeah.
so, rightfully so. So now your regime, okay, is going there on the Sunday, axe in hand or not.
Yeah.
Okay. They're probably a little wondering about the axe in hand and your girlfriend with you.
You got to be careful.
Be
Yeah.
careful. But the mental state to go into there to say, okay, I'm just going to do it versus, okay, I'm just going to jump in, and how long? Like, tell me that story.
Yeah. Of course, between listening to, a Huberman podcast or Joe Rogan, any of the greats that were really into this cold therapy over the last year or so. Minimum effective dose, 2 minutes, maximum kind of 5. Some of those guys that are going 20 minutes aren't really gaining that much additional benefit. And so we just kind of thumbed it. And at 3 degrees Celsius water, we felt 2 minutes. and just the physical feeling of you're cold enough, you're shivering, and it's probably time to get out was more than enough. And when you treat yourself to a little brunch after that and the coffee's still shaking, that there's a lot of good going on in your body.
And then does the face go into the water?
Yeah, we do. It's most important for the back of the neck and shoulders to be in. We want to treat the old reptilian brain back here and all those nerve endings. Even in a cold shower, I recommend people get it on the back of your head and just stand there for a minute and just get it done. Yeah.
Get her done. And David Asprey, because on his podcast and his things about that 5 minutes of you put your face in the water, cold water.
Yeah. Like the hack for the hack is keep a popcorn bowl with 4 inches of ice in your freezer and fill the rest with water. And then just go over to the kitchen table and just soak your face in that cold water for as long as you can hold your breath, maybe 3-4 times, 30, 40 seconds at a go, up to that kind of 3-minute mark. And that's the shortcut cold therapy that you can do at home in your own kitchen.
Now let's get into, just a quick one, is the yellow glasses.
Yeah.
When did you start?
Probably about a year. We were in a facility in the States that had them for sale. And this really just blocks the blue light. Working in the lab all day, I wear them. I put them on at night. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's a lot darker in the morning when you're heading out to work already. And I think it's usually, close to the middle of October where it really gets dark fast. But I know how important sleep is. And if I can keep my circadian rhythm level, and like yourself, I travel a little bit between Vernon, British Columbia, and back to Calgary, hour time change. If I can keep my sleep schedule constant, I'm just a way better human. There's another biohack. Yeah.
Another biohack. And then what is your sleep pattern?
As long as I'm getting no less than 7 hours a night, I'm fine. 8 is probably optimum. And rocking the Aura ring, that's a score of 85 and above, I'll deem acceptable.
Excellent. 85 and above. And the one that I wanted to get at, you mentioned it about, so you're telling me I jump into a cold plunge for 2 minutes, I'll lose 800 calories?
Yeah, the body goes through about almost a 24-hour natural reheating process. And so some of that is that physical shivering. That's the body trying to warm itself up. And some of it's also just chemical, your body just rejigging, rebalancing. And that calorie burn comes from that old reptilian brain going, we're going to freeze to death. What do I have that we can eat? What's readily available? And that chemical reaction starts a bit of a fat burn for you.
Interesting. That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Now, the actual cold putting on, going into the refrigerator, freezer, walking in there. Can you tell me, because you have to have gloves on, you have to have,
Yeah, we have, just for frostbite, we have some slippers, mittens for comfort, and headgear. We don't want to lose any ears. At 3.5 minutes with the turbo fans on, your nose is starting to get a little bit cold. So we do have the safety gear. I guess our thing is we want people to enjoy this and we want people to use this. And so we err on the side of caution until people have done it enough times that they go, I want to try that. I want to try no gloves or one glove. And at 3.5 minutes on the double black diamond setting, it's full pull. It's extreme.
And you wouldn't even realize it because the first time you're walking into that and you get the door shuts on you and you're thinking, okay, flight or flight. Okay, I got to get out of here. Wait a second, calm down. Now you're putting your mind and your state of being as a human right there and go, okay, relax. Now, what the function of what's the purpose of this and why we're doing it? And then you're right there and all of a sudden it's like, wait a second. Oh, yeah, my stomach's a little cold, this a little cold. And then it starts to make a whole change of your mind starts to change as well.
Absolutely. Certainly we use it for recovery. when you work out on this AI equipment, you get an incredibly hard but quick and efficient workout. So if we can immediately recover those muscles, there's no lactic acid buildup, the inflammation's gone. I did want to mention, in the cold air, it's much easier to take a big calming breath just to kind of reset your parasympathetic system. And then you're not in fight or flight, you're in that recovery and fat burning mode.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Dean, you know what? Thank you very much for being on Shed Talk, and I really appreciate you coming out here. That was awesome.
Well, I really appreciate you kind of opening the doors to the shed. I'm a big man cave guy myself, a shop, a shed, a lab, all good stuff.
Is there anything that you would want one more? Well, might as well get this just before we finish up here. Is there any one thing that you have a question for or an answer?
Well, Kevin, maybe just if you could relate just 2 minutes of your story, because I think it's so relatable to Dave's story. And that just might tie in a little bit about why you were so excited at the lab.
Oh, perfect. And you know what? This is going to tie in really nice because one of the things that we actually have here is a Q&A, a question and answering on Shed Talk. And one of the questions that we have is basically how would I tie in basically from my past and where it is, especially for health. So going into that, like I was 240 pounds, overweight, sleep apnea, gout, cancer. I have to think of which ones.
High blood pressure.
Oh, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, gout, cancer, high blood pressure. And I was on all the medication in the world that I could possibly be. And the biggest thing about it is once I didn't look after myself, like my own being of well-being, there's no way I could do anything else. So once I started that health journey to go to the next level, whatever that was to me, it was like, okay, well, let's stop drinking. Let's stop this. And then all of a sudden things started to get clearer. Your mind starts to open up. All of a sudden, the things that you thought you knew, the fog, the brain fog, you don't know you have brain fog until you don't have brain fog.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden a new item would be introduced into my life or something else, and then the next, then the next. And once I first saw that, what do you call it, the lab there and the cold plunge and everything there, it opened up a whole new door. And I'm going, I didn't even know that was possible. So it got me excited about it because it's all about life changing. It's about where we are today and where we're going tomorrow, because I can't change today, but I definitely can change tomorrow by all my actions I do today.
Yeah, you bet. No, that's great.
Thank you very much for being on Shed Talk.
Thanks for inviting me into the shed.
Now you know. Shed Talk.